associates will be billed.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shyotapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्ता वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमा ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Hare Krishna. So we will discuss, we will read and discuss the third canto, chapter 23, verse number 52. So I will share my screen. Okay, so we'll read the verse, the synonyms, the word-to-word meanings, translation, and purport. Brahman du Brahman दुहितृभिस्तुभ्यं विमृग्याः पतयः समाः कश्चित् स्यान्मे विशोकाय त्वयि प्रव्रजिते वनम्. Once again, Brahman दुहितृभिस्तुभ्यं विमृग्याः पतयः समाः कश्चित् स्यान्मे विशोकाय त्वयि Pravrajitevanam. Synonyms or word-to-word meanings. Brahman, my dear Brahmana. Duhitribhiha, by the daughters themselves. Tubhyam, for you. Vimrigyaha, to be found out. Patayaha, husbands. Samaha, suitable. Kaschit, someone. Syat, there should be. May, my. Vishokaya, for solace. Tvai, when you. Pravrajite, departed. Vanam, to the forest. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? Purport. It is said that the father himself becomes the son in another form. The father and son are therefore considered to be non-different. A widow who has her son is actually not a widow because she has the representative of her husband. Similarly, Devahuti is indirectly asking Kardama Muni to leave a representative so that in his absence she might be relieved of her anxieties by a suitable son. A householder is not expected to remain at home for all his days. After getting his sons and daughters married, a householder can retire from household life, leaving his wife in the charge of the grown up sons. That is the social convention of the Vedic system. Devahuti is indirectly asking that in his absence from home, there be at least one male child to give her relief from her anxieties. This relief means spiritual instruction. Relief does not mean material comforts. Material comforts will end with the end of the body, but spiritual instruction will not end. It will go on with the spiritual soul. Instruction in spiritual advancement is necessary, but Without having a worthy son, how could Devahuti advance in spiritual knowledge? It is the duty of the husband to liquidate his debt to his wife. The wife gives her sincere service to the husband, and he becomes indebted to her because one cannot accept service from his subordinate without giving him something in exchange. The spiritual master cannot accept service from a disciple without awarding him spiritual instruction. That is the reciprocation of love and duty. Thus, Devahuti reminds her husband, Kardama Muni, that she has rendered him faithful service. Even considering the situation on the basis of liquidating his debt towards his wife, he must give a male child before he leaves. Indirectly, Devahuti requests her husband to remain at home a few days more, or at least until a male child is born. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Okay, so we will discuss this verse. First of all, this verse is the main essence or the main focus of this chapter. How do we know that? Because we see that in this chapter, we went through this whole chapter, and the most of the chapter talks about Devahuti and Kardama Muni traveling throughout the universe, enjoying. Devahuti asking Kardama Muni that she has served, her body has become weak and emaciated, and Kardama Muni uh, utilizes or uses his yogic powers to give all the things that she has desired. So these are the most of the chapter deals with. However, the title of the chapter is Devahuti's lamentation, and that lamentation is now being shown here in the in text 52. So here she says, she is lamenting, my dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? So this is the lamentation. Now, why this lamentation? So she is asking Kardama Muni that she has realized after going through all the enjoyment and everything, she now realizes that this is temporary and she needs something permanent, like Srila Prabhupada talks about in the purport. And if we see a little earlier, when she asked about the uh, enjoyment or sense gratification that she wanted to do, uh, I was reading, Kardama Muni had actually told her that I can give you the spiritual knowledge, or I can give you the spiritual, the more permanent thing that that should be taken. And I'm trying to find that verse, but she had declined at that point, at that time. Yes, here in text 7, Kardama Muni continued, I have achieved the blessings of the Lord in discharging my own religious life of austerity, meditation, and Krishna consciousness. Although you have not yet experienced these achievements, which are free from fear and lamentation, I shall offer them all to you because you are engaged in my service. Now just look at them. I'm giving you the transcendental vision to see how nice they are. So Kardamamuni had offered, but at that time she clearly said, my dear husband, this is all understood, and but at this point of time, I want this. And she said that with great humility and love. She said that, my dear husband, O best of the Brahmanas, I know that you have achieved perfection and are the master of all the infallible mystic powers because you are under the protection of Yogamaya, the transcendental nature. But you once made a promise that our bodily union should now fulfill, since children are a great quality for a chaste woman who has a glorious husband. She says, I am struck by excited emotion for you. Therefore, kindly make what arrangements must be made according to the scriptures. Okay, so the point is that Kardama Muni had offered her the spiritual advancement, but she had said very clearly that, I want, this is my need right now. So what do we understand, or what do we learn from this? Here, after going through all the sense enjoyment and the enjoyment that they were, and their 9 daughters were born, Devahuti is saying, she has realized, and she's very clearly saying that, my dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. So she has understood that since they have come in this world, they will be taken care of by the material nature, by the Supreme Lord. Even though we may think that we have to do this and this, we have to take care of them, we have to find a suitable match for them, and so many things we have to do. But she has understood that actually, once they are born, they will be taken care of by the Supreme Lord. But the real question is, but who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? And that's what then Srila Prabhupada concentrates on in his purport. So we see yesterday, Gopal Hari Prabhu had talked about the taking shelter of the Lord. And by taking shelter of the Lord will take care of the devotee. So let's go a little bit on that same topic from this very practical application that we see in this chapter. So we see that first of all, Kardama Muni is a great yogi. He we have already seen how great yogi he is. All the siddhis he has attained. It's not easy to obtain. Uh, he must have done a lot of tapasya. He must have done a lot of meditation and devotional practices to attain that stage. And when it was time, he approached the Lord. The Lord gave him personal darshan, and then he very clearly uh, said that I was also reading about that in the chapter 21. He said that my heart is uh, wanting lustful desires, and I want to satisfy them. And for that, I want a wife. Now, being such a great yogi, it's not possible that he did not know that the the events or a wife has already been arranged for him, because according to the karma, according to the life he has, it must have already been um, there. However, what he does is that he approaches the Supreme Lord and tells him that this is my desire. Even though he knows that he will get a wife, but he still goes and takes the Lord's permission, takes the blessings of the Lord. And what did the Lord do? What did Krishna or Vishnu do? Here we see in the previous chapter, after telling him the specifics that a girl exactly that you are thinking of has already been arranged, and the girl with her father will approach you in a couple of days, and you just have to say yes. That's it. And everything is will be arranged. At that point, the Lord said, w- He gave him the instruction, with your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to me. So this is the instruction that he was given to, the Kardama Muni was given by the Lord. And what happened was that this is the protection. Protection means Protection does not mean material protection. Protection means that, yes, I have a desire for sense gratification. I have the desire to enjoy. But protection means that I don't get entangled in that sense gratification, in that enjoyment. We see in the material life that once people, when they try to do it on their own, they get entangled. They continue to do that more and more, and they get deeper and deeper into the sense gratification, one after the other. One thing is got achieved, then go to the next. That next is achieved, go to the third, so keep on going and going. But here the protection is that because the Lord gave him his blessings, because the he approached the Lord, now the Lord, being Rishikesha, being the master of his senses, he's going to give protection to Kardama Muni, that yes, once your desire is fulfilled, you will be able to come back. You will be able to get back to your spiritual practices and ultimately come to me. He tells him. So now, when the Lord has said that, because the devotee has approached him, now it becomes the responsibility of the Lord also. So the chances, or the chances of the devotee getting more and more entangled is nullified. So now Krishna, or the Lord, will start taking charge of the senses of the devotee, and which is exactly what happened. So, okay, so this was the case with Kardama Muni. Now, with this particular verse, the focus is on Devahuti. So, what did Devahuti do? She did the same thing. She approached her husband, and her husband, who is already a um, devotee who is in protection of the Lord. So she approached her husband. A, a Here in this case, her husband is also her guru. Her husband is also her guide. And so she approached him and told him that I want this sense enjoyment. I want this enjoyment to fulfill, because that's what my current need is. And Kadama Muni obliged. And after obliging, he also made sure that she will get the protection from it. So after all the enjoyment, after they went through the universe and in a flying planet, and uh, getting children, nine daughters, we see that at the end of it, she now wants the spiritual knowledge. She wants that solace, that after he departs, who will take care of him, take care of her in a more permanent way. So she also took shelter of her guide, or her guru, which is her husband in this case. And this is very practical for us. In our case, we when we want to take some major steps, I have seen many devotees. They will go to their spiritual master to get the blessing. They will go to their guide to get the blessing. They will go to them and for the instruction. And when that instruction, when they approach, because that sense enjoyment is going to come anyways, because if it is written in the karma, it will come. But when we go and when we get the blessings of the guru, when we get the instructions from our guide or spiritual master, it gives us the protection from that. Whenever, like, if somebody is taking a major step which is towards sense enjoyment, they go and tell Guru Maharaj, or I'm planning to do this, and please bless me, or please help me. How should I do it? Or they will ask the question. So here we see the same thing Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport, that the duty of the spiritual master cannot accept service from a disciple without awarding him the spiritual instruction. So the disciple has what is that? Yes, the disciple has served the spiritual master, and in return, the spiritual master will give him the protection in the form of spiritual instruction, which will protect the devotee from getting entangled particular in that particular enjoyment that they are seeking. Or rather, the spiritual instruction will be the how to use that enjoyment in service of Krishna. It can be in many different form, but it will be there, which will give the protection to the devotee, to the person. So this is what Devahuti does, and this is very practical even in our cases when we want something, we want to get something. It's a very nice instruction or a lesson that we can approach our guides or spiritual master and get their blessing, get their instruction on it, how to do. And once they do it, they will also follow up, and they will also try to get us they will try to protect us, because they know that this person has taken my shelter. The guru, spiritual master, knows that the my disciple has taken my shelter. It is my duty to save him. So that is the focus or the point that I wanted to bring out, that struck me in this particular verse and in this chapter. And the other point is that this is in Bhagavad Gita also. Krishna says in the 9th chapter, Yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat juhoshi dadashi yat tad tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurus va mad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So this is also validated and approved by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, and that is what we see that Kardama Muni did. We see that Devahuti, his wife, did, and we see the ultimate results of them. Kardama Muni, after enjoying with his wife for so many years, getting service from her and producing children, he was ultimately able to go back to his practices, spiritual practices, and perfect his life. Devahuti, she also wanted a husband. She wanted sense enjoyment. She got all that, and then ultimately, at the end of it, she also got the protection in the form of a son who will be the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And in the form of instruction, spiritual instruction, she will also get that protection, and she will be able to go back to home, back to Godhead. So it's 7:55, so I'll stop here. And in summary, what we discussed is that here in this verse is the essence of this chapter. The name of the chapter is Devahuti's lamentation, although the chapter talks mostly about the different activities of Kadama Muni and Devahuti, his wife, in different form of enjoyment. However, at the end here, she is asking for the spiritual instruction, and here in this verse, she's lamenting, and that's the name of the chapter. So this is the essence of this chapter. Next, we discussed that Kardama Muni, being a yogi, knew very well that he will get a wife, but he still approached the Supreme Lord and took his blessings, took his instruction, so that he get the protection. And we refer to the verse 3.21.30, where the Lord gives him that protection, gives him the instruction, and he was able to ultimately, at the end of everything, he was able to perfect his life as well and get back to his spiritual not that he was not practicing while everything was happening, but he was able to completely give his 100% on his spiritual practice, which is what he was doing, and which is what he had ultimately desired. And similarly with Devahuti, she approached her her husband. In this case, her husband is her guru and her guide, and she took his blessing and his protection, and which also ultimately resulted in Devahuti becoming realized. And ultimately, this is confirmed by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So everything can be offered to Krishna, either directly to Krishna or a representative of Krishna in the form of spiritual master or guide. So I'll stop there and see if there is any questions or discussion.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
So,
Please accept
I,
mine too.
I joined a little late or towards the end. I had this
Yeah.
question. So when Kartamamuni, in the previous verses, he said he's going to leave as soon as the 9 daughters were born. But somewhere else also that Kartamamuni was there until Lord Kapila was, he took his blessings and he left. So did Kartamamuni stayed until Lord Kapila was born or appeared, or he left as soon as 9 daughters?
No, he so that will come up in the verses coming up, but he has to, right? I mean, when the son Kapila Dev was born, at that point, immediately after birth, he left.
Okay, after that. Because the
Yeah.
previous verses, I thought he mentioned he'll leave and then that's where her lamentations start. Maybe that is not like right away.
Correct. So here it is not mentioned. If we see in these verses, he say, I mean, it is mentioned that she saw Kardama Muni leaving. So there can be a couple of different meanings for that. The first could be that, okay, Kardama Muni having gone through everything now, even before the time he got so dejected, he got a wife knows her husband very well, and similarly the husband knows the wife very well. So the wife, seeing in his eyes, she saw that he's now getting he's done with
Mhm.
this and he wants to go back. And so she knew that that is what in his mind, and she's trying to stop him. Or the other meaning could be that maybe Kardama Muni is just going out of the house, and Devahuti took it as, oh, now he's going away, leaving, so let me stop him.
Okay.
But here we see when she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but at heart
Right.
she was agitated. So yeah, there, because it's not mentioned what was going on in Kardama Muni's mind, we could infer these 2 points.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock, and we will stop here. Thank you very much for joining. Have a good rest of your day. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.